welcome back to Steve's office. I am going to flip the camera around here. I want to show you something. Well, I just wanted to show you my office, but the thing is I think you've seen this. I've flipped it around a few times in the past, but did just want to give you a look at this. This is where I work when I come to the church, and that's my desk. Look at that. And you're probably sitting here thinking, what a mess. And it is true. It is a mess. It's also my mess. And it's also how I know where everything is, oddly enough. It's funny, we all have our workspaces, and we know exactly where everything is. And if anybody moved anything on my desk here, I wouldn't be able to find it. But where it is right now, I can find it. And isn't that kind of funny how that's like life sometimes? Life is kind of a mess. Sometimes for us, we kind of fail, or we have problems and things don't always go as planned. But it's our mess, right? And we grab onto the things that we can control, and we make a little sense out of that mess. And we make it we make it work for us in our own way. So just wanted to give you a little view of this office here. And there are some organized things. See up there, right? We actually have books in a row there. This is every day I come in and I throw my hat down and I throw my keys and my sunglasses and my wallet in there. Even though I have desk drawers where I could put them, but I throw them in my hat. There's some Bibles I'm getting ready for the seniors. Yeah, lots of mess. But like I said, it's my mess. And I think many of us have a space like this in our homes, or somewhere at our work, or somewhere in our life. We have a place that's a little messy, but it's ours, and we enjoy it and we appreciate it the way it is. So I just wanted to give you a shot of that today. Now, you're probably wondering why I showed you my messy office. Who's proud of their mess? But it's funny because I'm sitting here in this today thinking, I have waited till the last minute to shoot this video, to be completely honest. And I'm kind of scrambling to think of something, and it's funny. God just sends you things sometimes, right? You sit and you be quiet, you think, all of a sudden it's like a light bulb goes off. So that's an idea. And it feels like it's given to you by somebody, and that's usually when God kind of strikes you with an idea and some idea of what you're going to do. So it came to me that I looked around and I said, what a mess. And it is a mess. And then I opened my Bible because I was looking for something else, and I came across a psalm that talks about being a mess. And so I'm going to read that. It is Psalm 32. Happy are those whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Happy are those to whom the Lord imputes no iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no deceit. Well, I kept silent, my body wasted away, through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy upon me, my strength was dried up as by the heat of summer. Then I acknowledged my sin to you, and I did not hide my iniquity. And I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. Therefore, let all who are faithful offer prayer to you. At a time of distress, the rush of mighty waters shall not reach them. You are a hiding place for me. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with glad cries of deliverance. I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Do not be like a horse or mule without understanding, whose temper must be curbed with bit and bridle, else it will not stay near you. Many are the torments of the wicked, but steadfast love surrounds those who trust in the Lord. Tripping over my words today, I apologize. Be glad in the Lord and rejoice, O righteous, and shout for joy, all you upright in heart. So that was my attempt at reading a psalm. A little tongue-tied this morning, I guess. Yeah, so messy office, a psalm about being messy, about messing up and being forgiven. You're talking about, well, I kept my silence, my body wasted away through my groaning all day long. It means somebody who's not saying what they feel. It means somebody who's not, talking about who they are or what they're about. It kind of weighs on you. Your strength dries up. And then it says you acknowledge your sin, you don't hide your iniquity, you confess your transgressions, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. And then God becomes a hiding place to preserve you from trouble, and you are surrounded with cries of deliverance. My favorite line of this, and I actually have it hanging back there somewhere on my wall there. I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. I love that. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, we are going about life doing what we want, how we want to do it, and then at some point it gets to a point where our mess is too much to handle, and we're like, okay, God, I'm giving it up to you, and all of a sudden God is going to instruct us and guide us and counsel us. And that's not a promise that life is going to be awesome from then on out, but it does mean that we're going to trust that God has some kind of plan for us, and have a little faith in God, and maybe we'll get where we need to go by following some cues from God and following that guidance. So that's pretty cool. And I also relate that to it can relate to a couple things, like what we're going through right now. Life is messy, uncertain, not ideal. It can go for life in any time, really. We screw up, we mess up, things happen. We get to places where we think we're beyond help, and then when we cry and we're feeling like our bones are drying up, as the psalm says, that God will pull us out of those places and find our purpose and place. And so that's awesome. That's awesome news. And I'm really happy to have those words there, because it's funny how when you're flipping through the Bible and sometimes words will just jump out at you that you need to see. And it's funny that I was struggling with what to say today, didn't really know what I was going to talk about. And then I saw the words on my wall. I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eyes upon you. And then I was like, hey, what psalm is that in? And then I read the whole thing, and it's a good encapsulation of my life. And I'm sure a lot of you share a similar experience where you had a messy life, and yeah, it was a mess, but it was your mess, but you were doing the best you could with it. And then there's a certain point where you just can't anymore. And you throw your hands up and you say, God, do something with me. Show me which way I should go. And God will do that. And then you'd be surprised as to how much different it becomes to navigate that messy life. And life is still messy, but at least we got some kind of idea what we're going through. I hope that you're all doing okay out there, and I hope that you kind of have your place where you can be a mess or make a mess and kind of find that comfort. And I also hope that you're finding ways that God is guiding you through that mess. And that's my hope and prayer for you today. I really hope that we are able to see where God is in all of this. And as we kind of work our way through this, that we're finding ways to be of help and finding ways to assist others through their mess as well. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, was my messy office and a messy psalm and our messy lives. And where does God come into all that and put it all together and glue it all together for us? So thank you once again for joining me. Thank you for listening to me. I really hope these messages are helping. I really hope it gives you something to think about today. I would encourage you all, the book of Psalms is right in the middle, so if you open your Bible, it'll be right there. And then you can look at it, and sometimes these things will speak to you. You read through them, they start out kind of in a way that is despairing, like, oh man, things are bad, my life is messed up, things are not going so well. but then it's like someone talking to themselves and talking themselves into remembering that God is there. So as you go through these things, they usually start off pretty low, and then they get a little bit more hopeful or kind of naming the things that are wrong. And then as you get to the end, the person writing them realizes that God is there, and they can celebrate and be happy and hopeful that God will help them through this. So we always say, help, thanks, and wow are kind of the three things that Psalms are about. And a lot of times you see all three of those things in the same Psalm. So it is something I've been doing a lot lately, taking another look. It is the longest book. It's got the most verses. But it is really insightful in the way that it shows you kind of how people talk to God and how you can talk to God. Your relations with God don't always have to be, cordial, I guess is what I would say. You can be angry at God. You can be upset. You can be frustrated. You can be disappointed. You can be all those things because God's big enough to take all that. God's also big enough to show you where God is in all of those things and to give you hope and to give you a way to look at them differently. So that's why I like Psalms. It's nice to take a look at those sometimes and know that you can be honest with God. That's kind of a big thing. And let God know how you actually are feeling at the time. And I imagine there's been some anger in the last few weeks, and there's probably some heartache and anger to come. And God's there, and God's going to take all that, and God's going to listen, and God's going to answer. I promise you God will answer, and God will show you the way through. So take some time this week, read a psalm. You can read Psalm 32 again. It's a really good one. There's a couple other really big ones in there with some very profound things to say. Just, open to the middle of your Bible and read something and see what it says to you. And then sit in silence and think about it, and then maybe read it again, break it down, whatever you want to do. But they're really good tools for understanding our relationship with God. So I would encourage you to do that this week. I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all doing awesome out there, as awesome as you can be. We love you and miss you here at the church. We cannot wait for the day when we can all be back together again. And take care of yourselves and take care of everyone around you and take care of the people who need help. And if you know anybody who needs help, let us know here at the church and we'll figure some way out to help them or find someone that can. Until next time, go out and see where God's calling you to be and see what God's telling you through the Psalms. Thank you.
Everything is cool.